right? This one is a 1961. It's old and kind of beat up. It's made with a plywood top. The strings are tuned just like a guitar. So E, A, D, G.
And for those of you that are fiddlers, it's the upside down of a fiddle.
Your responsibility is really important. You have to keep the time. A lot of times instruments that are playing melody are sometimes pulling, not any of you, but sometimes melody instruments can pull and push on where time is. So in other words, speeding up or slowing.
As they gave the analogy, they said, if the ground is out in front of me and it's even, then I can do anything I want. I can run, I can dance, I can skip, I can jump. But if the ground is uneven, or if it's moving, or if it's behind me, all I can do is kind of carefully plod through the tune. So I always try to remember that, even though what you're doing on the bass is pretty simple, and that you're just playing like the root and the 5th note, and you're just playing basically the downbeat of every bar, that timing is so super important. Now let the note ring so they can hear the difference. You hear how much tighter the rhythm feels when he starts stopping his notes? It feels like snappier and punchier, right? Tubas, and these were only used for like classical music, but for dance music, it was tubas in the old days. So when people started playing bass, of course there were no amplifiers. This would have been back in the 1920s around Texas and Oklahoma, and so the best way to get the most sound if you're trying to fill a whole dance hall is to snap the string. So instead of pulling it sideways like this, you're actually pulling the string out and it's snapping back against the fingerboard like that. And so a lot of the early bands coming out of Texas were doing that, and then that was imitated all around the country, including right here in Appalachia. In fact, the Dry Hill Draggers, which is like a legendary local dance band, their bass player, and a lot of bass players around here actually will snap the note. So instead of going like this, they're going. Rockabilly music started. People like Elvis and Johnny Cash, the bass players would do a thing where they would pull the note here and then they would come back and slap it here. So the sound was partly because you weren't allowed to have drums on the Grand Ole Opry, right? So they were actually using the bass kind of as a drum. Slap bass is like hot sauce, you know? A little bit goes a long way.